Hello, and book. Hello to you. Welcome to another book ASMR video. Today I'm going to do the whole book. I'm going to talk about books because there have been requests for like a cozy video about books, where I talk about books I read. So, hope you guys enjoy. I think I'll just get straight to it. There are 4 books I'm going to show today. I have put them on display on the bookshelf. Where, and where. So yeah. So okay. So let's just begin. And we'll begin with this book. The History of Spain by Herman Lindqvist, a very famous Swedish historian and author, and he has written a book about the history of Spain. I have yet to read this, but I have read his books about various figures from France, from the 18th century France, and on the French Revolution and stuff like that. But this is his book about the history of Spain, and it covers, I believe, like a millennia or at least many centuries of Spain's histories. So it really tells, I think it goes way back to medieval ages up until the modern era. So it's really, yeah. Or actually, it actually begins 30,000 years ago, actually. And goes all the way up to 1975. It's very tappable, this book, isn't it? Tappable. It's tappable, yeah. So it's really tappable. So yeah, so this is, that's what I began with today, a history book, because I love history books too, and both books are biographies, historical biographies about persons, but also about areas, histories of countries, time eras, stuff like that. Moving on from history to fantasy, this is the Tales of Beetle the Bard, the Norwegian edition. In Norwegian called for Skalden Skurres historier. I just talked Norwegian a little bit. So this is the Tales of Beetle the Bard, and it's from the Harry Potter universe. It contains the Tales of Beetle the Bard contains 5 fairy tales for children of the wizarding world, including the story of the Deadly Hallows, which some of my viewers may be familiar with, either because they have read the Tales of Beetle the Bard, or because they have heard of it, because they have read the Harry Potter and the Deadly Hallows, or watched the Harry Potter and the Deadly Hallows movie and seen the presentation of the Deadly Hallows tale there. Regardless. So, you know, there are some books about Harry Potter. There are the 7 Harry Potter books. Then there is that play, which has also been given out in book form, and then there is the manuscripts for the Fantastic Beasts movies, and then there are 3 other companion books, and that's Quidditch Through the Ages, which is the magical sports game in the Harry Potter world, and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which is about the various beasts of the Harry Potter world. But this is about fairy tales, the fairy tales of the Harry Potter world. So it's quite enjoyable. You can see some illustrations in this book, actually. Sorry, excuse me as I try to just get the page open here. There. Here you can see the presentation of the three brothers on the bridge where meeting death. You know, and I'm not going to tell the story of the Deadly Hallows if you haven't watched the movie or read the Deadly Hallows book, or for that matter, not read the Beetleborg, but it's a very famous fairy tale of the Harry Potter. So yeah, anyway. Going to a different fantasy. This is Tolkien's Silmarillion, and this covers the events which preceded The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. So you may have read the Hobbit book or the Lord of the Rings book, but this is about everything that happened before the Hobbit and before the Lord of the Rings, in the millennia before. So I have not really truly read this, but I know it's about the ancient history of Middle-earth, you know, the history of all the events preceding all the other stuff going on in The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. So, if you're a Middle-earth fan and a fan of the Lord of the Rings universe, then this book may be for you. So it's sort of like reading a fantasy history book in a way. Anyway. And the last book I have for you today is Mockingjay, in Norwegian called Fuglfønix, and that's the third book of the Hunger Games trilogy. Actually, I have to admit to you guys, I have never read the third book. I read the two first books a decade ago. I'm planning to reread the series and this time read the third book too. But yeah, so this is the third game. Oh, sorry, I got startled there. Apologies. I thought there was someone outside, just outside the window, but it was just the wind playing a trick on me. It was anyway. So this is Mockingjay, and it's the third book of the Hunger Games trilogy, and the Hunger Games is a science fiction dystopian book series which has also been made into 4 films, or maybe 5 films. I believe it was recently just released a prequel film. Anyway, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was. But anyway, Mockingjay is the third book of the Hunger Games, and the Hunger Games is set in a far future dystopian United States where I believe things has been divided into districts, and where children of various families are forced to participate in a rather brutal and deadly contest called the Hunger Games, where it's sort of like a reality show, where a brutal, bizarre reality show which everyone in this world watches, where the children kill each other off until only one remains. Is really brutal. But it's also become a really popular dystopian franchise. So yeah. So yeah, if you like dystopia stuff and science fiction stuff and that type of stuff, perhaps particularly dystopian stuff, I'd say this is for you, especially if you like some brutal dystopian elements in addition. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed me talking about books I have read and slightly read, but I may read some of these more properly later. So, wish you guys all the best, and hope you enjoyed this cozy book ASMR video.